Democrats just elected new leaders, and as you would expect, guys, they followed good principles of DEI. They were very inclusive, very diverse. It's two white guys. Yeah, it's two white guys. Here they are. That's them. Guys, that is racist. That is racist. And by the way, there were a few black women who ran against these white guys. So it's just disappointing for me, and I'm sure it's disappointing for you as well, to see the misogyny and the racism that is still alive and well in the Democrat Party. Democrats said, by the way, that Kamala Harris lost because of misogyny and racism. Guys, is that why these white guys won? That's my question. That's just a question for Democrats to maybe internalize a little bit. Maybe look inward if that's what you're going to say happens with elections. So the guy I want to focus on with all this is David Hogg. And I'm thrilled, by the way, I have to say this, and I'm being genuine, I'm not being facetious. I'm thrilled David Hogg is the vice chair of the DNC, because David Hogg is an awful person and an awful leader, and I can't think of anybody better to guide the Democrat Party through than an awful person, because, of course, the Democrat Party elite is full of awful people. And if you're thinking to yourself, you're like, who the heck is David Hogg? Let me take you down a memory lane to who he is and why I care about talking about him more than maybe some of the other Democrat leadership that was elected this past weekend. David Hogg was a student at a school named Parkland in Florida. And in 2017, the reason why Parkland is famous is because it was the home to one of the worst shootings in American history. And you'll remember that this was particularly in the news because David Hogg essentially decided to jumpstart his political career off of the backs of his dead schoolmates. And by the way, he was never at school when this happened. He was at the high school, but he wasn't in the high school, if that makes sense. He was a student at the high school. And instead of, trying to help his classmates, doing the right thing, he spent all of his time on CNN after the fact. And he organized, this is why it was really in the news, he organized a nationwide walkout of schools around the country, not just in Florida. And the reason why this is important to me is because I was 16, just to youth myself, if you will, to show you how young I am. I was 16 at the time, and I was in high school. And I was sitting in my English class when David Hogg organized this nationwide walkout. And I was the only one that stayed, the little Josh was the only one that stayed in my class while all my classmates filed out and did a walkout for something they didn't even know what they were doing. But I knew I didn't want to walk out because I didn't want to, support someone who was calling for the abolition of my right to bear arms. And you're probably thinking, by the way, Josh, you grew up in California. That's why you're the only one in there. No. I grew up in Provo, Utah. And for those of you who don't know about Provo, Utah voted more. There was a higher percentage in Provo that voted for Donald Trump this last election cycle than any other city in America. So it doesn't really get more conservative than where I grew up. And yet every single one of my classmates walked out, and it was because of David Hogg. And he essentially rode the coattails of his dead schoolmates all the way to Harvard, and then continues to be a complete coward today. Just to show you the caliber of leader he is, here's a video of his acceptance speech.
Thank you. Who's ready to take the fight to the Republicans and win this thing? Are you guys ready to fight? It's been a long day, but guess what? We have a long road ahead. Let's go and kick some ass. Let's go win our young people back, and let's stop sending just our thoughts and prayers to address gun violence and do something. Are you ready to do that? Because together, we can make school shooter drills history and not headlines. Are you ready to do that? Together, we can address the housing crisis and so many other issues of our time that are affecting our young people. Because tonight, Malcolm and I won with your support. Thank you so much. You guys rock, and thank you again to Jamie.
Inspiring, just screaming, saying we will do stuff, but not actually saying how he'll do it. A wise man, by the way, once said, I heard this online. Wise men once said, they were talking about David Hogg when they said this, don't interrupt your enemies when they're making a mistake. And that is what Republicans need to do on this one, because make no mistake, David Hogg is a whiny soy boy who has no leadership skills whatsoever. So I think he's going to sink the party to a new low, which is really hard to believe because the Democrat Party is really low right now, but I think he's going to find a way to do it. Do you guys believe that taxation is theft? Well, I do, and so does the sponsor of the show, Quick Tax America, which is a non-woke company that does all federal tax returns for only $69, and it gets your best return because they hate the IRS as much as you do. It's a completely transparent price because it's their only price, and it doesn't matter how complicated your taxes are. What's more, guys, they do all of the work, unlike the other massive online services. You simply upload your files, answer a few questions, and schedule a 15-minute finish your return call with a tax professional, and they do all the rest. No more spending 4 hours on these stupid online services, and then you end up having to pay hundreds of dollars. Anyway, again, it's only $69. Go check them out at quicktaxamerica.com when you get those tax documents, or you can go to the link in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you haven't already, go down below, like the video, subscribe to my channel, and watch another video.